Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to spend time with you, more time with you. I wanted to do part two of a little personal introspection and kind of a little more get to know who I am so you understand where I'm coming from and what took to get here in a way, because life deals out some humps and bumps for all of us. Each one of you are going through your difficulties and your lessons that you're learning. And when I meet you for the first time, I'm seeing what all your past journeys has done to your individualized consciousness. I know you're an individualized piece of God on a journey of an endless amount of experiences. And it does that to take that individualized self and mature it up to be its own self-creator. Right now, you're in the world's already created. So you can get ahead of the game and see exactly what your future is going to be if you keep playing the cards in that manner, called the Akashic Records. And you can see that. A lot of psychics see that, at least bits and pieces of it. But you can consciously see that. So I just wanted to kind of continue a little bit there and just kind of show you some of the pathways, because some of you most of us are in the poor side of life. You've got to be medical or something to make a lot of money. And there's some nature paths out there that rip, and it just makes me puke. There's a lady up in Sarasota that charges $50 per question that you ask her. And I get upset with that, because I've kept my fees down to nothing. I'm only $100 an hour, and that doesn't pay nothing. So it's just enough to say that, we've run along. Coming along through the years in Florida, they first would love to have shut me and jailed me, as they've done others. But it was tough. I've lived in my clinic. I lived in a little 13-foot travel trailer for a while with my second wife. Being out in the woods, you kind of get acclimated to having nothing. Preferably to have nothing, because you're more free and have more fun if you're not materially loading yourself down. Remember, we talked about how your mind has a link to everything you own, and it weighs you even though you're unaware of it consciously. The weight of your possessions can weigh you down. This is why Jesus, Buddha, all these people are shown in the wake of poverty. So you understand that materialism is creation, and that keeps you locked in creation, wanting, desiring, playing, and having fun. But inside there's the haunting question of, who am I? Who am I really? Is this all there is to life? All the haunting questions of actually soul, knowing that it's more than this little experience, So this is the process as getting healthy. The process of spirituality is letting go, detoxing yourself, so to speak, from materiality. Because, again, sometimes your possessions are a ball and chain around your neck. So sometimes the lighter you are materially, the more happy you are. I was telling you, one time I grew up and I delivered horses in newspapers in a pony and cart. Matter of fact, I think I was around 10, maybe 9 or 10 here, but I'll show you a picture from the newspaper here of me delivering newspapers in a horse and cart. This was 1960. So I was 10 years old when this happened there. Isn't that funny? And this is my great-grandfather. To show you, I guess things run through the family, huh? That was later 1800s, early 1900s. I found this. I thought that was funny. I was raised, of course, in Indiana, and we had the largest oak tree in the state of Indiana. We even had a plaque by the state with that. And this was when lightning hit it. But the limbs were bigger around than most oak trees, and I just had fun climbing this tree. The limbs were, like I say, some limbs were bigger around than my desk. This was 18 foot through it. And one year, my dad was a Chrysler dealer, and years ago when new cars came out, it was always September 21st when they were released, and all the dealers hid their new cars until that date. And the car manufacturers always used to make it a big deal, like an excitement date. Now they release next year's models a year ahead of time, but always September 21st. So he had about 4 or 5 brand new cars to be released, and this is probably in the first part of September. And he'd already had them delivered from the factory, and he parked them under this tree. And lightning hit a limb at least as big around as my desk here, came down and smashed all 4 or 5 of them, brand new from the factory. I felt so sorry for my dad.
No.
Oh, man, I wanted to cry.
Ruined?
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you can imagine a tree limb this wide coming down on top of cars. You just smashes them down. Take a look at that one. We also had ponies. We had horses and ponies. And there's nothing any cuter than a little baby pony. There's nothing like them. This is what I do in my off time, just to give you an idea. I'm a tractor driver. But I just wanted to show you those, and little memoirs going down the road there a little bit. There's so many of them, I have my little kung fu box, that I carry some of the things in through the years. But, after I got out of high school, it was Vietnam. And so I had a child at the time. My first son was born October 31st, Halloween. Yeah. And so I'm not going to show any more pictures or anything. So, yeah, so whatever, if you want to go eat or whatever you want to do or hang around.
Drew eats all day.
Drew eats all day, yeah. So my number was, in the draft was, thanks Drew, appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Thank you, man. Enjoy your salad. That's a nice big salad.
They look good.
Yeah,
huh?
You're kicking butt, man.
Potatoes.
Yeah, baby. So I made a deal with the military, and I got on an Air Force base in Columbus, Indiana, Bacala Air Force Base, and spent almost 2 years. And then they had base closings. My time was almost up anyway. And then they had major base closings. I don't know if you remember back in the 70s, early 60s, or late 60s, early 70s. And so our base got closed, and I was done with my stint anyway, so happy. And then I was free from that. But, when you meet someone, they're a culmination. So whether I'm perfect in my diets or not, or perfect in anything one does, I'm a reflection of everything I've went through and all the journeys I've been on, as you are. So when I meet you, I don't criticize your past, because it is a part of who you are. And it's a part of what homes you and makes you refined. None of you should ever regret your past, no matter what you did. It is just the way of life, and creation is already created. You're just moving through it. So would never get upset with yourselves or anyone else. Life is the way it is. We, in our ultimate selves, are if you want to use the word perfect, but if you want to use the word brilliant, and that reflection of God consciousness. So you are the gorgeous one, the beautiful one, the one of light. Your bodies is how you experience through creation, feeding back to you the consciousness of the experiences, and it makes you who you are. Now, I have to laugh about this since I'm doing this, a little extra video on top here, is someone commented about my shirts. Yes, I'm a little frugal, but as a male, I probably have 10 shirts, maybe a little more. Most of them, I'd say 2/3 of them are white, cream. I like the collarless shirts. I try to wear one nice shirt. I like fancy Indian-looking shirts, that sort of thing that's collarless. But I do wear a new shirt every day. I wear new pants every day. But I do cycle through similar clothes. When I'm doing videos, I try to put on my nicer shirts and stuff, because when you're dealing with the public, you should always be presentable. Because I used to keep my hair short and my beard off so people would respect me, because you have so many levels. And the older levels don't get with the beards and the long hairs. And I fought that growing up because every day in high school, my principal was in my face. Of course, I have my own band. I'm playing a 12-string Morse guitar, and I write music. And I just, at that time, the Beatles were hot, the Byrds were hot, the Kingston Trio was hot. All these people were hot, and we were doing sororities and fraternities at Indiana University. And we had a gig every Wednesday night at this big place. Talk about partying kegs of beer. Holy crap. College kids really know how to do it. So we had a lot of fun playing music, you know. And so anyway, here a few years ago, I'll say it's probably about 15 years ago, I ran a radio show for a couple of years. And then after that, I probably had a year in between, and then I had a friend that was a Native American, and we did a radio show in Sarasota for about a year. And that was fun because we were talking to, and I can't remember what his name was. He wrote a book. He's out in Mount Washington and Rainier and all those. And he's the one where all the two ships come in from two different planets that come in. He's got videos. He's got pictures. He's got Deepak Chopra was up there. So it's pretty cool. So there's a lot going on around the world that we don't always hear. And I love Native American elders, you know. But I'm always the one teaching not to surround your arms around the planet too much. This is a rock spinning through space. It is an illusionary in the sense that as soon as you remove your attention, it's gone. It's not supported by any reality but your consciousness. And when all consciousnesses go, this reality doesn't exist anymore at all. It's just hard to define that until you've had some out-of-body experiences or you've gotten yourself out there with some, I don't know, you know, window pane or whatever. Do you get to see some of these things? And you can do this in meditation without using drugs or anything because the whole concept is shutting that mind up, you know. And so it's just some of the things that we have to do. You know, I lived around for years without any other raw foodist around me. You guys don't know how lucky you are to have each other and to have the Facebook. I spent a lot of years alone, you know. It's like no one to talk to about fasting, you know, and about raw foods and, you know, just about all these things. It was hard. I was lucky in the one point that I had the what's called the Shangri-La. And the Shangri-La was a natural hygienic fasting clinic down in Bonita Springs. And I'm up in Bradenton, Sarasota. So that's the only place I could find raw books. So needless to say, I hung out there as much as I could, you know, because then you had some like-minded people. And the nature path that ran that resort, I went to his school because I sat down with him and talked quite a bit about Brant Ridge Forest School, and I really liked Bruce, the guy that opened that up and ran that. Remember, it doesn't matter what school you go to. It's your academic schedules that really matter and what kind of knowledge they're giving you, and can you use that knowledge, and is that knowledge accurate? You know, there's just so much academics out there, just bullshit stuff, that you cram yourself, the mind full, you lose your spirituality and happiness, and you go out and there's nowhere to really use a lot of that. So, I don't know, you know, in the inner worlds, as you grow, you can go to cities of learning, where you go into the city of learning and you will be taught that which you're interested in, as opposed to crap you'll never use. The educational systems at different levels in these heavens are so much different. Each level, of course, being more refined and less need to have education. You become more conscious and more aware. So, interaction between beings is not so much literary, if I can say something like that. I don't know. So it's a lot different in that way. But I just kind of wanted to give you an overview of me and who we are here and our, you know, my personal journey. And, you know, it's rough when you don't have people to that's been through these things before and not be around you to help you. And I can only tell you that you guys are really lucky. You have each other, And we've got a great system. Took me a lot of years to perfect that, and you guys are going to take this system and even perfect it more. But I can tell you, we are one of the best healers on the planet, all you guys included. And there's just people not doing this level of work. And this level of work is essential to the continuing of creation on this planet, because you're going to see major upheavals already, I think, in the next coming years. And, that's a problem. But it's just creation. It's the way it is. You can never be hurt. Nothing can ever happen to you. You can't be killed. You can't run and hide. You're always present. Ever present as God is ever present. There's no unawareness and awareness. That's the bodies. That's the mind. That's the emotions. That's not you. You're always present and always awake and aware. A lot of times we shade that with thoughts or desires or unconsciousness, so to speak. So anyway, sorry to bore you, but I felt that with all that said, and listen, I appreciate the apology on the guy. It didn't bug me. It's just that how people ask questions are important. I'm sensitive to vibrations and energy, and I think that ask with love and stuff, and you'll get I don't mind telling you anything, because I don't regret anything I've done. I mean, you can always regret, but that you're not a fruitarian perfectly for 20 years, and that'll lock you out of your freedom too. You have to be careful with locking yourself into idealisms that are materialistic, including health. So you want to tear it up, dig it in, and go after it, enjoy it, but you take it on like it's part of your beingness. Eating fruits is part of your beingness because they're nirvanic if you get the fresh fruits ripe off a tree. Especially in the islands, they're nirvanic, and nothing like in the northern areas. And when you start to get into these, and you begin to see that what life could be at levels where man is consuming these superior fruits and berries and melon, it's just amazing the levels that you can attain. And some of you are getting there already. And I'm just really proud of all of you from doing that. So I'm going to cut this video off here. I really love you guys and appreciate your endurance of my, chattering. But I want to get to a lot of your questions and things. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching our videos and helping all your friends and your neighbors and other people. For you guys that are moving into practitioners, man, you are needed so bad in this world. This world needs help. It doesn't even know it needs help. And that's the problem. Those that can see are appalled, and it's obvious. Every day you guys get your clients coming in and the stories of what the AMA has done to them. After years of that, that's why you see me. I don't mean to overbeat some beautiful souls that are playing their role of medical doctors, but this science, which is not a science, has hurt so many people for no good reason. And you cannot give excuses why a pharmaceutical is killing people, but it's okay that we have it on the market. There's no good excuses for that. There's no good excuses for any of the focus of the AMA. For the betterment of mankind, the facts weigh on the other side. The most deaths by far occur allopathically. There's not even a comparison, because there is none or one, maybe worldwide, a year from natural health, and that probably wouldn't be from anything they took. So it's obvious that this has to change. For you medical doctors that are watching these, change now. Come on board with me, and I'll change your reputation into where people will hug you instead of cuss you. And you will really, that's a much better feeling. And we can change the world with all of us working together. Not that that's an issue and important, but it is. At one level it is, because of what it means to the consciousness and the awakening of the consciousness. Not so much the drama, but the consciousness behind it. All right, I love you so much. I'm going to run because I'm going to add on this video. So we're going to cut this and then go to question and answer. So thank you so much for enduring the past. I I don't do well with past things. I like the now. Future's only the now. So let me see here and have a fun day. Thank you so much for taking your time and listening. Bye-bye.